Okay, alright, this is really complicated, so I had to write it down. I'm going to explain it slowly because it took me a couple of times to understand it when I looked it up on YouTube. The UEFA Nations League is a proposal by FIFA that has been supported that will get rid of friendlies as we know it within the European continent, most likely, and will get rid of the need for larger teams wiping out smaller teams like Andorra and San Marino. The point of this is to make it more competitive, as well as to increase smaller nations' chance of moving up the ladder. And how this is divided up into is like this. It's technically a tournament that is going to result into a Final Four where one team will lift the trophy. But it also affects Euro 2020 qualifying. I won't get into Euro 2020 qualifying in this video, even though the UEFA Nations League format will affect it. But I'll get into basically the basics of what the UEFA Nations League is and what's going on. So, it's very simple. Follow the arrows. 55 members are in UEFA, right? 55 countries. Makes sense. Okay. These 55 teams are going to be divided up into 4 leagues, and these leagues are going to be called Leagues A, Leagues B, League C, and League D. These 4 leagues, A, B, C, and D, are going to be determined on a seeded basis, which means that the very best teams in Europe are going into League A, the second tier are going to League B, third tier into C, and the worst teams into League D. Think of it as sort of a pot seedings as you would normally see in a major international tournament or a World Cup. The very best teams in a World Cup draw get seeded into Pot A along with the host nation, right? So this is how it works for UEFA. The best teams get sorted into A, second tier into B, second into C, third into C, and fourth into D. Now, League A is going to have the 12 best teams in Europe. League B is going to have also 12 teams, but the next 12 best, from 13 to 24. League C is different. League C will have 15 teams, and League D will have the bottom 16 teams, from 40 to 55. How is this all determined? Well, it's not determined through the FIFA rankings. All these teams will be sorted through the UEFA coefficient ranking. And that will have an influence once the 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle for Europe is completed. Okay, now here's where it gets really complicated, so follow me. Each of these leagues that I just said, the 4 leagues, A, B, C, and D, are then divided up into 4 smaller pools or groups of 3 or 4 teams. So those 4 leagues that are being divided up, all 55 countries, are then divided up into even smaller pools or groups for 3 or 4 teams. Here's how it looks. League A, the 12 best teams in Europe that I told you about, will have 4 groups of 3. And here's a little drawing I made to give you an example. 4 groups with 3 teams inside. Right? League B, same as League A. The second tier 12 teams of Europe will also have 4 groups of 3. 4 groups of 3. Here's where it differs. League C, 15, will have 3 groups of 4, sort of the inverse, the reverse of that. 3 groups of 4, and because 15 is an odd number, it will have 1 group of 3. So this is how it'll look. 4 groups still, but 3 of those groups have, 3 of those groups have 4 teams, 1 of them will have 3 teams. And League D, 16 teams, nice round even number, plain and simple, 4 groups of 4 teams. Example, 4 groups of 4. Now then, every team in these smaller pools, meaning these, will play each other twice in a home and away type format. Think of it as like a double round robin. Right? So, in League D, for example, every team in each pool will have 6 games to play. They're playing everyone in their pool twice. Not everyone in their league twice, everyone in their specific pool twice. Now, when all the pools of all the leagues are done, this is how the UEFA Nations League format will kick in. Each pool winner in League A, remember I underline League A, only League A. Each pool winner in League A advances to the Final Four. The last 4 teams then compete in a single knockout style elimination en route to the final. So let's go look at League A again, right? League A has 4 pools. The winner of each of these 4 pools will get to the semifinals, play each other in a single elimination knockout round style to the final. There will be a 3rd and 4th placed game as well. And the winner will be crowned the UEFA Nations League champion. Okay? Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because this is where the other leagues come into play. The bottom teams of all League A's pools are relegated. So in other words, the 4 last placed finishers here in these pools will get relegated to League B. The winners of each pool in League B moves up to League A. The last placed teams in each pool are relegated to League C. The best in C move up to B, and you see where this pattern is going. The best in D move up to C, and the bottom of C move up to D. Okay? So basically what this means, guys, is the worst teams in A move down to B, whereas the best teams in B move up to A. So in the UEFA Nations League, guys, a team can move up into a higher league. Best in B move up to A. Worst in A move to B. Worst in B move to C. Best in C move up to B. Worst in C move down to D. And the worst in D move up to C. Now, since League D is the lowest league, it's impossible to move down any further. D is the absolute lowest. So if you have to watch this video several times to understand it, I won't blame you. I would advise you to watch this video a few times, at least one more time, to understand what's going on, because it is very complicated. What do I think of it? I think it has pros and cons. I think that it's great that it's going to get rid of friendlies against lower teams, to where there'll be a higher concentration of higher quality games. It could hurt the lower teams in Europe by not being exposed to the bigger sides anymore. I'm not sure if I like that. But it will give the lower sides in Europe, in League D, for example, a chance to move up the ladder to C if they beat each other up. And overall, I think there will be more competition involved. Maybe teams in B and C and D will improve, and they will move up the ladder into the higher tiers of European football. I kind of don't like the idea that some teams in their pools will have to play more games than others. Some have to play 6 games, some have to play 4, because we have an odd number of teams in Europe at 55. I'm not sure if I like that. I don't think I do. But overall, the UEFA Nations League will be interesting to see. Do I think it's a good idea overall? I'm not sure. I think that remains to be seen. We just have to see how the 2018-2019 season goes, because this will be the test run. It's the trial. It's the experiment. So we'll see how that goes. And my only concern is I don't want it to stop the growth of smaller teams. That's my concern. But we'll see what happens. I think it's great that the bottom sides in Group D move up to C and so forth. It'll sort of keep things competitive, because teams do not want to be relegated to lower levels. So Thanks for watching this video. Much love. Have a good day. Peace out.